Namaskar. My heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being here. The chosen prayer is a prayer written by the mother on March 10, 1914. She is already on the boat, or say ship, Kagamaru, sailing towards Pondicherry. And on 29th of March, she would be reaching. She is writing this prayer from the ship, from the boat. This prayer, which I, with my limited mind, titled Thy Peace, is an invocation of peace, yes, but it is more than that. We have heard of the Shanti Mantras, and we just heard some shlokas, Sarve Bhavantu, Sahana Bhavatu, and it is very beautiful that in our country, all mantras, all invocations, the Upanishads, or even general mantras, they are considered incomplete if they do not end with peace. So we say Om Shanti in the end. And then we consider that the mantra is complete in itself. So Sri Aurobindo also speaks about it in great lengths. Even in the Life Divine, he has said that when he talks of foundations of yoga, peace, calm, equanimity, these are the very first foundations of yoga. Without these, if we have experiences on the spiritual path, it may actually create havoc. It may actually unsettle us. So, calm, peace, equanimity, they are the first basic practices of yoga. So people ask, how should we practice yoga? Should we stay awake whole night chanting or calling the divine? The mother says at one point that when we do things forcibly or by force, and she says all experiences must come spontaneously when these foundations of yoga have been settled. So if we do things forcibly, and she talks of it when she's talking about the Kundalini, that people do all sorts of things by force of will, by their mental power, by fierce, or you can say very strong practices. They try to bring it down. So it shouldn't be done like that. And if there is an unrest and if there is a forceful, you can say, effort, then 99% of the times, all we are likely to do is call down the vital forces. And these vital forces, they can be very tricky. They will give you a sense of power. They will give you a sense of strength, of well-being, even of joy. And most people, they fall into the trap of thinking that this is the authentic thing. But Mother says this is not the authentic thing. The authentic thing comes when we give ourselves completely to the divine. In the Upanishads also, there is, they say, na yamatma balahinena labhya. Means the base has to be very strong. You have to be able to bear it. The infinitude of the divine is not a small thing. And it is not for the weak who are weak in body and mind. For that, you need to be very strong, and so the foundations have to be strong. And the mother says the best practice, first of all, is to call peace. So how do we do it, mother? So mother says at one point, call peace. Call it. And at one point she says, call it like an idiot. Peace, 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And a time will come when it will come. And it will come to stay. And after that, whenever you want to invoke it, you can invoke it. We are not invoking peace. We are not in the practice of invoking peace, calling peace. And one fine day we fall ill or something like that and we say peace, peace. Then it's not going to work. It's too late. So it has to become a daily practice. And she says, call. Whenever you are there, call it at least 2-3 times a day. Peace, 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 calm, calm, calm. Come, peace, come, oh peace, come. She tells like this. So the prayer now. So basically in this prayer we will also see that at one glance it seems like an invocation of peace, But here through this prayer, the mother is actually teaching us how to become and connect with that vast universal peace, how to become one. March 10, 1914. Thy peace. In the silence of the night, thy peace reigned over all things. In the silence of my heart, thy peace reigns always. And when these two silences were united, thy peace was so powerful that no disturbance of any kind could resist it. Then I thought of all those who were watching over the boat to safeguard and protect our course, and in gratefulness, I wanted to make thy peace spring up and live in their hearts. Then I thought of all those who, confident and free from care, slept the sleep of inconscience, and with solicitude for their miseries, pity for their latent suffering which would arise in them when they awoke, I wanted that a little of thy peace might live in their hearts and awaken in them the life of the Spirit, the light that dispels ignorance. Then I thought of all the inhabitants of this vast sea, both visible and invisible, and I willed that thy peace might spread over them. Then I thought of those we had left far behind and whose affection goes with us, and with a great tenderness I wanted thy conscious and lasting peace for them, the plenitude of thy peace as far as they could receive it. Then I thought of all those towards whom we are going, who are troubled by childish preoccupations and fight in ignorance and egoism for petty rivalries of interest, and ardently, in a great aspiration, I asked for them the full light of thy peace. Then I thought of all those we know, all those we do not know, all the life in the making, all that has changed its form, all that is not yet in form, and for all these, even as for all that I cannot think about, for all that is present to my memory, and for all that I forget, in a deep contemplation and mute adoration, I implored thy peace. So, she has already established this peace within herself, and she is on her way to Pondicherry. There is peace in the creation. If you look at the opening lines, in the silence of the night, this is one prayer, perhaps we get a direct hint that she's writing it in the night, when everything is still and calm, everybody is gone off to sleep, and the boat is sailing on the sea. In the silence of the night, thy peace reigned over all things. In the silence of my heart, thy peace reigns always. So she has this peace in her heart. And there is peace also in the surroundings. The night is there, it's all quiet and calm. There are specific times, Godhuli ki bela hoti hai, ya morning hours, the Brahma Muhurt and the hour following that. It is so peace and calmful. And if we just connect ourselves to that peace and calm, that is also in the environment. So mother, the peace in her heart and the peace also in the environment, when these two combine, she says, the peace it became so powerful that in that powerful peace, nothing can disturb this. And in that powerful peace, what is stemming out from her? Prayer is stemming out from her for everything in the creation. So Sri Aurobindo also speaks that there is peace in the creation, but in our minds, there is so much, we are so full of these noisy thoughts, so much of vital mixtures, that we are not able to feel this peace. This peace is actually like a solid ice, Sri Aurobindo says. And he says that it is the most dynamic, powerful power through which action, if it originates, it can be so powerful that it can cover the entire world. It can have its impact everywhere in the creation. So while explaining this, he said, a yogin, first of all, he establishes peace within, and he becomes like a vast sea. Inside there is that powerful calm, the waters are calm, but on the surface, the tremendous waves can be thrown up. So this is the power of peace, the foundation of peace, and its action is also very, very powerful. So the mother has established this peace, and connecting with the environment, connecting wherever she is right now, she is praying for everybody on this earth. She goes on to say, then I thought of all those who were watching over the boat to safeguard and protect our course. And in gratefulness, I wanted to make thy peace spring up and live in their hearts. So beautiful. She is bringing in this great quality, virtue, gratitude. She is feeling, gratitude is a divine quality. And in most of her prayers, we can feel this gratitude that she is expressing. She herself is the world mother. She is Jagat Janani. She is Yog Yogeshwari. But when she expresses gratitude, it is for us to understand why she is doing this. She says that in total gratitude towards the divine is the best way to be happy and peaceful. So she is feeling very grateful. She is praying for all those people who are keeping vigil, who are safeguarding us. And in our present context, I'm sure most of you have heard this song by Lata Mangeshkar. Jara yaad karo unki kahani. And there are very powerful lines in this. जब हम बैठे थे घरों में वो खेल रहे थे होली, जब देश में थी दिवाली वो खेल रहे थे होली, जब हम बैठे थे घरों में वो झेल रहे थे गोली. So these people, they can be soldiers, they can be doctors, nurses. We have just gone through a very intense period, intense calamity where a virus was shaking us up. The doctors, the nurses, the karamcharis, the guards, the BSF jawans, everybody, whosoever looks after us so that we are able to sleep peacefully. So she is feeling such immense gratitude for them, And through this prayer, she's telling us, yes, we need to do this too. Instead of just being happy with our own peace, let us also pray and invoke this divine peace for all those who are doing so much for us. She goes on to say, she doesn't stop here. Now see how her prayer is going to become vaster and vaster and going to cover the entire earth. Then I thought of all those who, confident and free from care, slept the sleep of inconscience, and with solicitude, concern and care, and with solicitude for their miseries, pity for their latent suffering, which would arise in them when they awoke, I wanted that a little of thy peace might live in their hearts and awaken in them the life of the Spirit, the light that dispels ignorance. So not only is she thinking about the guards who are keeping vigil and guarding us, she is also praying for those who are sleeping peacefully, thinking that that is peace. But Mother says they are sleeping the sleep of inconscience. And here, she is also hinting how we should sleep. Not unconsciously, but consciously. But she is praying, her heart is full. She wants to pray. She knows that when they wake up, when we sleep, we think yes, the body of course gets rest and all. But is it actually rest? Is it actually peace? Are we getting that peace? Our body is calm, we don't know anything, we are just lying like a rag on the bed. But is that peace? So when we wake up again, and when we start with our daily activities, the reload of inconscience again overtakes us. And not understanding that, we fall into that cycle of misery. And wherever there is ignorance, wherever there is this, inconscience, there will be pain and suffering. So she is feeling the pain and suffering for these people who are sleeping the sleep of inconscience. And she wants that a little of thy peace, the divine peace, gets into them, settles in them, so that when they wake up and move into that state of inconscience, they are able to bear their miseries. And while bearing their miseries, they are also able to figure out what is the cause of this misery. Maybe become conscious. Because when we are deeply peaceful, there is a light. There is a light. We are able to perceive everything clearly as they are, within us and also outside us. So she is feeling concern and care for these people who think that they are sleeping and resting and having peace, but actually it is unconscious. So they may find strength when they wake up to bear with their miseries and sufferings. She goes on to say, now look at so beautiful it is, and what a beautiful thought to go to sleep with. Then I thought of all the inhabitants of this vast sea. So not only human beings, her love is overflowing for everything, all creatures, plants, animals. So she is praying for the creatures of the sea, visible or not visible, doesn't matter, but she's praying for them. I will that thy peace might spread over them. Then I thought of those we had left far behind. We had departed with. When we move on a journey, we leave behind some people. And some of them we leave with regret. We feel that departure, we feel that pain. And we know this pain is because we have so much of affection for them. We want to be with them, but we are on our way now moving away from them. Then I thought of those we had left far behind and whose affection goes with us. And with a great tenderness, I wanted thy conscious lasting peace for them, the plenitude, abundance, plenitude of thy peace as far as they could receive it. Now she prays for a conscious, for a lasting, for an abundance of peace for those whom we have left far behind. But she is not relating herself to the sufferings, to the pain. Instead, she is showing us again a wonderful trick. She is showing us a sutra of oneness. She is talking of affection. She is saying she is thinking only of the affection. She is not flowing with suffering for them. Her heart is full of love and affection for them. And she is praying so that they receive it as far as they can. We may be surrounded by divine powers. We may be surrounded by very nice and beautiful things. But if we don't know how to receive them, if we don't have the receptivity, the divine powers may be there, but हम उनका बहुत ज़्यादा लाभ नहीं उठा पाएंगे, वो हमारे अंदर तक जाएंगे ही नहीं. Even when the divine powers are there, we still may lose out on them. So receptivity is very important. Somebody very beautifully said, prayer is when we talk to the divine. Meditation is when we hear him. Then I thought of all those towards whom we are going who are troubled by childish preoccupations and fight in ignorance and egoism, for petty rivalries of interest. And ardently, in a great aspiration, I asked for them the full light of thy peace. So now here she is also telling us what are the causes of those sufferings, our ambitions, ignorance, petty things that we fight for. In fact, we live for those petty things. We settle in life for very small gains. A house, we save till we retire to buy a house, or maybe a wonderful car, a second car, a third car. These are very small gains. Name, fame, visiting card. So are these really the gains that we should be looking for? Even the tiniest of creatures can come and play havoc and do away, wash away all this. That we we fight for them, we struggle for them, and we gather them, we accumulate them. So she prays for these ignorant and unconscious people, for their peace. And how she is praying? She is praying ardently. Look at the words she has used. Ardently I aspire. So her aspiration is not only for the people she loves, the people who are helping her. She is also praying. She is also feeling. She is aspiring. In her prayers she is aspiring for these people who are in the grip of inconscience, who do not know what is a true gain. So she is wanting that peace to settle in them so that they understand what is true gain. These are not the material things. These are not the satisfaction of the petty desires that we have. But when the divine peace settles in them, they will realize what true joy, what true bliss is. And they will be able to receive it. So there is light inherent in peace. And what is this light that is springing up, that she wants to spring up? It is the light which shows us clearly what we need to do. To establish this peace is the first thing. And once this peace, there is a solid foundation of this peace, it throws up light on all the nooks and corners that need that light, that need to be peaceful. There are portions of us, there are parts of us which do not understand this. But when we are peaceful, in deep peace and calm, we are able to see all this. So it is like a lake. When the lake has got ripples, so what happens? We are not able to see the reflection of the moon or the trees. Nothing we are able to see. Everything seems very murky and muddy. But when the surface of the lake is clear, crystal, it is absolutely ripple-less. So we are able to see the reflection till far. The moon is very high in the sky, but we are able to, the depth to which we can see the reflection. So the quiet lake is synonymous to quiet mind, a pure mind, which is able to see all these things, and is also able to reflect. This is something very wonderful about peace. अपर्णा दी यहीं पे बैठी हुई हैं. उन्होंने एक सत्संग में कहा, हम सुख में भी अशांत रहते हैं और दुख में भी अशांत रहते हैं. So it is only because the foundation is not there, With a little, Sri Aurobindo says, when a little drop of grace or love falls on us, it comes down, we start jumping and shouting and we think, pata nahi kya ho gaya. We become again very turbulent with that. So imagine what will happen when the whole thing comes down. Where will we be if we are not strong, if our foundation is not strong, if the base is not strong? And peace, the mother says, is the first thing. And call peace. So when we are in that state of peace, automatically the light springs up. And there is an example. The mother, once there was a very big cyclone, very terrible cyclone in Pondicherry. So the mother would go to sleep only after she made sure that Sri Aurobindo is comfortable and all. So when this cyclone was raging, she goes into Sri Aurobindo's room and to close the windows so that it's not, there can be peace and calm. She goes into the room and what she sees surprised her so much. Sri Aurobindo he's intensely writing something, And there is so much of a tremendous peace and calm around him. The windows were all open, but not a drop of rain was coming in. And there was absolutely, it seems as if there is no cyclone outside when one is in the room. So this is this kind of solid peace. That's why Sri Aurobindo talks about peace as a solid piece of ice, So the foundation has to be very, very strong. Bamboo roots, one knows the story of bamboo roots. Grasses go very frequently, they become very green, and we are very happy, a lush green lawn in front of us. Poor bamboo. Seed bodhya, and then first year, second year, third year, till 6 years, nothing happens. And then all at once, within a span of 1 or 2 months, it reaches 20 meters. Why? Because it was laying its foundation. It was strengthening its roots. It was making the roots go deeper and deeper and deeper. And after that, even if the turbulence, and it has to shoot up with a force, it will do that. And nothing will be affected. And the shoots are so strong that they are able to bear with heavy rains. We all have heard in the northeastern states, there are plantations of bamboos. And there is so much of rain and cyclone and heavy storms over there. But nothing happens to these bamboo plantations. They are sturdy and strong. Why? Because the roots are very, very strong. She goes on to say, then I thought of all those we know, all those we do not know, all the life in the making, all that has changed its form, and all that is not yet in form. And for all these, even as for all that I cannot think about, for all that is present to my memory, and for all that I forget, in a deep contemplation and mute adoration, I implored thy peace. What a vast and wide prayer. She is praying for those she can remember, she does not remember, people who are still have not been born, those who are taking different forms, have left their bodies. It is, in Savitri, Sri Aurobindo has said, there are lines which say, thy peace, O Lord, a boon within to keep, amid roar and ruin of time. She has this boon, the mother has this boon inside her, and what is she doing with this boon? Is she holding it within? She is just giving it out. She wants this peace that she is feeling to enter every heart. The mother says, if you don't have peace in your heart, you will not find peace anywhere. And she has said that all hearts, hearts of all men beat within my heart. So how can she be separate from us? This boon that she has, this established peace that she is having, she just wants to give it out. She just wants, and not only give, she wants it to make it such that it is able to deliver what the divine wants to be delivered, to make us good instruments of the divine. So this prayer is a powerful means of coming out of our own little ego self, our inconscience. Look at the wideness the mother is laying bare before us. And we, with our petty wishes, petty rivalries, we are stuck only in these. So this is a prayer which asks us to be open. It's a prayer of openness, of wideness. It is a meditation to make us that link us to that vast universal peace. So it is just not a prayer of peace. It is a prayer for universal peace. In the Dhammapada, when mother was explaining certain verses, she says that when we have goodwill for others, and when we don't limit only to ourselves, but when we have goodwill for others, and we have goodwill for everybody in the creation, we are a part of that. And not only that, so we are included in that. When we throw out goodwill towards all, we are a part of that. We are not separate from that. And not only that, that goodwill comes back to us manyfold. It is, one may say that it is the elementary law of karma, elementary understanding of the law of karma, in fact, that whatever energy you are throwing out, it will come back. So if it is an energy of jealousy, hate, spite, anger, the same is going to come back. And not only come back to us in the form that we let it out, while it is coming back to us, it will pick up everything else. All the other spites, angers and everything, and hit us very hard. So even law of physics says that if light is thrown in the universe, it will take one full spherical chakra and then it is going to come back. Okay. So when people, she also recommends this, when people leave their bodies, when people depart, or when a new birth is about to take place, we follow certain sanskar. And what happens now is a lot of tamasha, a lot of rituals. Even some people may be wondering what sweetmeats, what is the mithai that is going to be served. And there are people who come just to lament and make the grief more and more. They will surround the person from whom the person has departed and weep so much, cry so much, and tell so many things that the person, anyway feeling pain, will be benumbed with the pain. But instead of that, if very few people who love the person sit together and invoke peace and throw out this feeling of love, throw out a thought of goodwill, a thought of peace, a thought of, you can say, wideness, opening, the departed soul, anyway, it will expedite his process towards the divine light that is already moving into. When the soul will see all this natak happening here, he will also feel very troubled. All this weeping and all these rituals and all, even the Pandits have forgotten what is the occult science behind those. So instead of doing that, if we just pray, and if we have a quiet environment, and we just think, and we think good things, throw out goodwill, it is going to be of much help, not only to the departed soul, for everybody who is in that surrounding. So, peace is a positive condition. Many people think that, oh, he is very calm, इससे ये काम नहीं हो पाएगा, ये तो बहुत शांत नेचर का है. But Sri Aurobindo says peace is a positive thing. It can make the most powerful actions manifest. So this prayer, besides being an invocation of peace, it is also a peace for linking to that vast universal peace, for making us open, for making us wide. In fact, one can say that this prayer is like a yajna, bringing in light, invoking light and peace for everybody, not only for us, but for everybody, so that the divine will can manifest. Let us read this prayer again. In the silence of the night, thy peace reigned over all things. In the silence of my heart, thy peace reigns always. And when these two silences were united, thy peace was so powerful that no disturbance of any kind could resist it. Then I thought of all those who were watching over the boat to safeguard and protect our course. And in gratefulness, I wanted to make thy peace spring up and live in their hearts. Then I thought of all those who, confident and free from care, slept the sleep of inconscience, and with solicitude for their miseries, pity for their latent suffering, which would arise in them when they awoke, I wanted that a little of thy peace might live in their hearts and awaken in them the life of the Spirit, the light that dispels ignorance. Then I thought of all the inhabitants of this vast sea, both visible and invisible, and I willed that thy peace might spread over them. Then I thought of those we had left far behind, and whose affection goes with us. And with a great tenderness, I wanted thy conscious and lasting peace for them, the plenitude of thy peace as far as they could receive it. Then I thought of all those towards whom we are going, who are troubled by childish preoccupations and fight in ignorance and egoism for petty rivalries of interest. And ardently, in a great aspiration, I asked for them the full light of thy peace. Then I thought of all those we know, all those we do not know, all the life in the making, all that has changed its form, all that is not yet in form, and for all these, even as for all that I cannot think about, for all that is present to my memory, and for all that I forget, in a deep contemplation and mute adoration, I implored thy peace. There is a song. It just hit me as I was reading the last few lines. Peace is there in everybody. It is inside us, it is outside us. Our noisy thoughts, our vital mixtures, desires, all clouded up. But it is actually wanting to flow out. It's like a river. Peace is like a river. Let me sing it here, then I will do the offering there. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. His love is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Peace is flowing like a river. His love is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. It is the peace. You have to call the peace. And don't worry whether it will come or not, it will come. The mother has given the assurance. And if still that doesn't work, the only technique, the best technique is Ma, 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 Ma. And she will put you in that state of receiving. If you call Ma from your heart, peace is one of her powers. The 12 powers of the mother, if you've aspiration, humility, courage, peace is a very strong power of the mother. We call Ma. Are we not calling peace? So that is the only technique I can tell you. And it works, for sure. I can say something that the mother has said, that practice, when she talked of a regular practice, she said twice a day we must practice silence, we must practice deep peace. But it does not, it has to be a true peace, it has to be a true silence. Often we think that talking, not talking, or staying still, or sitting quietly is peace. That's not. She says it does not mean only abstention or abstinence from talking. It has to be in your entire being. You have to call that peace. Mother says, when you want something very sincerely, it comes. So if we want peace very sincerely, it will come. So just refraining ourselves from talking or just becoming immobile and sitting in an asana for a few hours is not really peace. You can call it stillness, you may call it quiet, but it is still not peace. Peace is, you can say it is the basis of everything that will emerge, and it has the power to deliver.